Hey, y'all. Good day, everyone. How are you doing today? You are so welcome to Grief to Grace, the podcast where we explore transformative stories of healing and hope. I am your host, Ruth Hephzibah, and it is my mission to guide you from grief to grace, from being stuck to finding strength and moving forward and moving from being stuck to being unstuck. So, on this journey, we not only share the powerful testimonies, but also offer tools and strategies to reclaim your glory and your purpose. So, how are you doing today? We ask that question every day. We want to know how you're doing. We want to know how life is with you. We want to know how you're moving and pulling through in this journey. Yes, it's been a very beautiful journey, and I know that you too, you definitely will scale through on every side. So, this day I'm asking that question again. How are you doing? How are you moving forward? How are you pulling through? How are you helping? How are you doing the great things that you're doing? And how are you waking up every morning and taking that step for greatness? So, again, how are you doing? I hope you're doing good. I hope you're fine. I hope you're great because I am great. I am awesome. I am bubbly with life this morning, and it is a very beautiful day. So, thank you once again for joining us. And as I said at the beginning, it is Ruth Hephzibah right here on Grief to Grace. And I know that you have a whole lot that you're thankful for, you're grateful for. You're saying, yes, Lord, you have helped me in this journey. And I just want to say thank you, Jesus, for all that you've been doing in our life. And based on that, I will be playing one of my songs. And that song is Thank You. And Uwese means thank you. And I just want to play a bit of it and we'll be right back. No one can compare to you. You are God forever. Nothing in this life will satisfy you. You are God forever. Now till the very end. Your praises, Lord, shall I ever sing. Now till the very end, oh, your mercies, Lord, will I ever seek. Jesus, me uwese, aboye me uwese, Baba uwese, Baba uwese. Jesus, me uwese, aboye me uwese, Baba uwese. Baba uweze. Hey. Thank you so much for joining us again. We just want to say, God, thank you. Lord, thank you for this beautiful day. It's been a very beautiful journey, I tell you. It's been a journey, like today, I was just recounting how much God has kept us in this journey. I was just recounting. My whole life is like a whole lot of series. And I cannot but just say, Lord, thank you. Just so much episodes upon episodes, and God has been so faithful. As I was recounting the book of Psalms this morning, and I was like, whoa, Lord, just like David, I want to say, I am grateful. So, and that is it. So, how are you navigating your journey? It is very important for you to be grateful. It is very important to show gratitude for the little things that you see every day because it is very key. And that brings us to what we have today. But before I go into what we have today, whoa, I am definitely going to talk about first my book, A Pen That Rewrites Grief. This is that book you need in this journey. It is very key for you to have this. It's a guide. That guide that will take you, the 60-day guide, as you use it, you definitely will be able to say, yes, Lord, I can see you in my journey. Yeah, because it has a lot of interventions. Every day of it all has its own journey. You see that? So it has its own journey. Every day you write, every day helps you with your journaling. It helps you to honor memories. It helps you to set boundaries. Just so much that you need to do. It has a lot of activities in it, and you will be able to say at the end of your 60-day guide and all that you've done, you'll be able to say, yes, I have been able to move from being stuck to being unstuck. Yes, and so based on that, we'll be looking at what we have today, and that is a topic rising from the ashes. And this is Twanna's journey of resilience, her spiritual awakening, and also unconditional love that she has found in her journey. And we're talking right behind the scene before we came in here, and she said, oh yeah, her whole life is more, it's just a journey, a whole lot of journeys. It has its own stuff. And if you going through a lot and you don't even know right from when you were born, and you feel like, oh, I've been through a whole lot of grief and it's time to quit, no, this is the right time to listen and hear her story, because right from when she was born, she has a story of grief. And now she's been able to turn those stories into purpose. She's been able to turn the story into profit. She's been able to turn the story into glory, into grace. And today I'm honored to introduce to you our guest, which is Tauna Eves. I hope I got that name so correctly. And her journey is nothing short of remarkable. So she was born prematurely in the year 1975 and overcoming unimaginable odds. She has faced family abandonment, navigated the NYC group home system, survived a debilitating car accident, and also battled a destructive fourth grade teacher. And all through the pain, Tawana has emerged stronger than ever and empowered by the psychic gift she passed down from her mother, that was passed down to her by her mother. She now leads a movement of authenticity and empowerment through a platform, which is the Black Butterfly Goddess. And I tell you, she is just an awesome personality that you need to meet with and talk with. And you will be so glad that you met with a lady like Toana. And right now, I'm bringing her on stage. This is Grief to Grace. It's a Christian platform where we navigate grief, and we navigate grief and we bring it up to grace. It's a Christian platform where we believe that with God, all things are possible, and you can navigate your grief in a very healthy way without using any sort that is going to be detrimental to you and your family. And this day, I want to say welcome to Anna. I hope I got your name right.
you. It's Tywanah Evette. So thank you so much. Yes, you got the first name right though. Usually people don't. So thank you so
Okay.
much for having me here, Ruth. I appreciate you.
So, how are you doing today? I like asking that question because I know sometimes we have people you just say, "How are you doing?" and they're fine, but they actually not fine. So, how are you doing?
I am absolutely wonderful today. I
Oh,
am it's a great day. It's a beautiful day.
thank you so much. So, we have beautiful Joanna here in the house, and the next voice you're going to be hearing is her story. And today, I just want to ask you to share your story because I'm so glad that you're here with us. Thank you for being with us today, and I'm excited to hear more about your journey. And please, can you share your journey with us?
Absolutely, it's my pleasure. So as Ruth said, I was born prematurely in 1975. I was 3 pounds 4 ounces. And in 1975, that was a dangerous thing. You usually were not expected to live when you were that tiny in 1975. I made it through that. My mother and I, we made it through it. She had pneumonia, I had pneumonia. It was quite an interesting fate. And I, went through a very traumatic childhood. We moved a lot. Things were not stable. School after school, I can't even remember how many elementary schools I went to. Um, but I thought I was happy, and my mother was with a gentleman who was not my father for the first 9 years of my life, and I thought I was his. And so I was a daddy's girl when my stepdad was in my life. And then I met my real father when I was 9 and a half. And my mother went through some depression. She went back to nursing school. So she sent me to live with him. And that's where my grief really began. My father was a deacon in the church. However, he found time to impregnate me. He found looking for the right word, he found the will to, create incest with his child. And when I was 15, I found out I was pregnant by my father. I did terminate that pregnancy. I was not strong enough to have it. I was not strong enough to go through with it. Um, so I went into the New York City group home. I had to navigate that. That is not a fun space to be in. There's a lot of fighting, there's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of jealousy, there's a lot of stealing. And my one of my sisters and my brother-in-law did try to take me out, but New York City would not approve them because they had a small apartment and they had two children. I had a child at 18 years old. I found comfort in being a mother. Um, and I was not married to that gentleman. We were not together very long. I got married at 21, and he was abusive. And this is where, another nightmare began, because what I found in looking back was every partner I chose was a version of my father. They were a different version of my father because I had no better way of choosing. So in 2004, I was in a head on collision, and I just had another back surgery 4 weeks ago. So for 20 years, I've been having back surgeries to try to keep me out of pain, because I live in debilitating pain. This affected my children's lives greatly because their childhood was gone. Mom couldn't get up, mom couldn't play, mom couldn't, do all the things that moms normally would do at their ages. Um, Fast forwarding to 2020, I met a fourth grade teacher, And I thought, I'm choosing better. I'm doing better. I've healed my trauma, because what could be better than a fourth grade teacher, someone who works with little children every day? What could be more admirable? And minus the physical and intimacy abuse. He did not abuse me intimately. He did not abuse me physically, but he was my father reincarnated. Every day, there was another reason to tear me down. Every day, his insecurities became mine. Every day, he took a little part of me, and another part of me died until I got to the point to where my whole body became numb and I attempted to take my life. I felt worthless. I felt useless. I had never in my life felt so purposeless and worthless. Never in my life, not even after what my father did I ever feel that useless and that purposeless. I even believed I was a child of Satan because no one could love me. No one could love me. So I tried to take my life, and I woke up in the hospital. I don't know how I got there. The story is not clear. I don't know what they did to save my life. I just know two things that they didn't do. And that doesn't matter at this point. It's in the past, but I went through therapy, and then I started trying alternate modalities of healing. And one of them is called RTT hypnotherapy, rapid transformational therapy. And it's where they take you back in your subconscious and teach you to love each version of yourself that protected you during those traumas. They teach you to forgive each version of yourself that protected you during those traumas. And so I moved back to Washington D.C. I left Atlanta and I moved back to Washington D.C. because if I knew if I stayed in Atlanta, he still had access to me. But if I left, there was no access. He wasn't going to put in enough effort to try to harm me here. And when I moved into my apartment, my mother's voice became louder and louder. My mother transitioned 25 years ago. And I would sit outside for hours and just write all night. I would sit outside and write all night. And it's called scripting, I found out. It's where you're writing from your subconscious. So you're taking all of that trauma and all of that grief and all of that pain, and you are getting it out of you and you are putting it on paper. During this time, my adult children decided they did not want to be a part of my life. So that just added to the grief. But it also added to the drive to heal. And for 2 years, we were in separation. I did everything. I did everything I could. I went through every bit of pain. I cried. I screamed. I wrote. I broke things. I got all of that nasty energy and all of that nasty anger and the hatred and the victim mentality that I had carried with me my whole life as a victim. I got it out of me. And I heard my mother's voice, and she said, it's time to use your voice to heal others. So I started speaking on podcast in February. And I kept talking and I kept talking. And as I talked and talked more, I started to heal more. And she showed me my purpose. And I am a bridge as a psychic. Some people would call it a prophetess. I am a bridge to the spiritual realm. So, how do I help others now? Number one, I do TikTok lives every night and we talk. We talk about grief. We talk about those things that are hurting us. We talk about pain. My TikTok live is not about just card readings and being the bridge to the other side for you to get answers. I built my TikTok community so people feel seen, heard, loved, and understood. Biggest purpose: seen, heard, loved, and understood. Because I did not feel that when I tried to take my life. Those were the four things I wish I had felt, and I didn't. And so, in doing this, I have also built what I call a spiritual guidance business. It's coaching, it's a coaching business, but I like the word spiritual guide because I'm taking you from your darkness to your light. I'm holding your hand and I'm showing you how to get from your darkness to your light, step by step, day by day. I'm showing you how to heal your trauma because I'm working with people who have been through the same traumas that I have. And I beat it. And I beat it by myself. Yes, I have a couple of friends, but they don't live anywhere near me. So when I say I beat it by myself, physically, where I am, yes, I had the phone calls and the text messages, but I was all alone in my apartment, fighting for my life, fighting to beat this grief because I'm worth it, because my children are worth it, and because my grandbabies are worth it. In my business, I coach people on how to dig deep and heal those deep traumas that we have. And I'm finding so many of us have it. It's scary. The numbers are scary. Um, but in that, in me healing others, I have reconciled with my children. I talk to my grandchildren whenever I want, and I am watching other people's light come back into their eyes. I have emails that say, I was going to take my life until I saw you on this podcast. I have emails that say, I saw your TikTok live last night. Thank you for honoring the truth of your children. Thank you for admitting that you failed them. I wish my parents would do the same. There is no greater feeling than taking all of that pain that I had inside of me and turning it into purpose. There is no greater feeling, no greater joy than knowing that what I do every day is my purpose. The people I speak to every day are my purpose. The people I counsel are my purpose. The people I see on TikTok are my purpose. I am walking, as my sign says at the bottom, unapologetically in my purpose, and nothing will ever stop me again. That's who I am. So I built Black Butterfly Goddess from nothing. I built Black Butterfly Goddess from my pain. And it's because I always say, oftentimes we don't even realize our pain is our purpose. And that's me, and that's what I do.
Mm. Thank you so much for sharing. I felt so bad, you know, especially when I heard all the story, like of your childhood. And I'm like, how mean can a father be to do all that to a child? You know, I just can, I'm just trying to imagine how you felt at that time. So, at that moment, how were you able to navigate your grief?
Honestly, at 15, I never had time to stop and navigate the grief. So I had to shove it in the back and keep going. Um, because by then I was fighting in group homes for my life. So I've lived in survival mode until I was 47. And that's when two and a half, almost 3 years ago now, is when I learned how to navigate my grief and how to allow myself to grieve. The permission I gave myself, the permission to grieve the life that I was supposed to have, or the life that I thought I was supposed to have, right? Because we all have these plans for our life.
Hmm.
And I had to grieve those plans that I had for my life when I looked around my apartment and the only remnant of my children were their photos. Um, so what I recommend for grieving is allow yourself to go through the process. I'm serious. If I'm angry, I will go to the dollar store and buy a plate and go somewhere safe like behind a dumpster and just to get that anger out because it's not hurting anybody. It's not hurting anything, but it moves that energy up and out of me. And that's the thing. Grief is moving that energy up and out of you. Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to feel angry. Allow yourself to feel mad. Allow yourself to cry. Allow yourself that space so you can keep going because it's the only way to beat it is to feel it, is to flow through it, is to surrender to it. That's my favorite word, surrender.
Wow. So now, if you look back at the darkest moment of your life, who and what gave you the courage to keep going, when you felt like you wanted to give up? Because I'm just trying to imagine, because I know there are a lot of people going through the same thing you're going through, especially a lot of teenagers, a lot of kids.
Yes.
And also knowing that you had to go through the group homes, that's another story for another day.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and I don't mind even bringing you back to come share your experience about the group home. I don't,
Thank you.
you know, because that's another story. So, what's that thing that gave you that courage to always keep going when you felt like not giving up? Most times you just feel like, oh, I think I should end it today. I don't believe it's that last one you did that actually was the first time you ever thought of giving up. You know, there were a series of episodes
Yes.
where you felt like, oh, I need to give up today. I just need to end it today. So, what was that thing that kept you moving?
In the beginning, it was my children. I always had to live for my children. I always had to keep going for my children because I became a mother at 18.
Hmm.
But once my children were out of my life and my mother had me sitting outside writing all of this stuff that was inside of me that I didn't know that was there or I didn't remember that was there, right? Um I found a sentence in my writing and it was I am a good person.
Hmm.
And I held on to that sentence that I am a good person because that was all I could find when I lost everything. to hold on to so that I could continue. I am a good person. And even if you can find the smallest thing in you to love, the tiniest thing. And for me, that was I'm a good person.
mm,
Hold on to that. And then you can build, use that as your foundation. And then you can build up on that. Now, I love myself. I don't care who doesn't love me. I don't care who doesn't like me. I don't care who doesn't agree with what I do. I don't care. I love me. I love every part of me. The good, the not so good. I love it all because all of me deserves love. That's what it took to bring my children back in my life. That's what it took for me to have access to my grandbabies again. It took for my children to see with their own two eyes this is not the same lady that raised us. This woman loves herself and she's found her purpose and she stepped in it. And so find that small thing, that very small thing. I'm a good person, and make that your foundation to build upon. I am a good person. I do good things for other people. That's the next one. I am generous. I am kind. And then you keep going and you keep going and you keep going until you get to the point where you can look in the mirror and say, I love me. Because my father took that from me. I hated myself. There were times in my life where I covered my bathroom mirror just so I didn't have to look at myself.
mm,
And now I love all of me. The stomach from all the surgeries, all the cuts and the bruises and things from all the surgeries I've had to have to survive. I love them. I love the scars. And it's crazy because I tell people on my TikTok lives, what makes me beautiful, what makes me authentic is all my scars. Everything that people wanted me to hide my whole life is what makes me beautiful. So I'm
mm.
going to continue showing my scars. I'm going to continue talking about my flaws. I'm going to continue because it makes me relatable. It makes me authentic. And that's what people reach out to. That authenticity. Hey, I had back surgery too and don't know how to deal with it. Hey, I went through divorce as well and don't know how to deal with it. Hey, I've been abused too. Can you tell me how you got through it? Those are the things that people want to hear. They want to hear that you're relatable. The people that act like their lives are perfect, people can't relate to you. Not today.
Hmm.
Not today.
Wow. This is a very powerful testimony, you know, especially when it has to do with taking advantage of people.
Yes.
When comes to, especially teenagers and children,
Yes.
it can be really touching. It's something that
Yes.
I can not really relate with. I can stand it most times, and it really hurt me like differently. You know, all the while I read through your story, I didn't see that part. Now,
Mhm.
hearing about that part of it, I can actually understand how much grieved you were all
Yes.
your life because you had to grow through it. But if now you have to talk to that little girl that went through all of those stuff, what are you going to tell that girl now?
I am so proud of you. You're so brave. You were so courageous.
Wow.
And you did such a good job of protecting us.
That
And
is
I
it.
thank you.
That is it. Whoa, thank you so much for joining us today. And I
Thank
know
you
you
for having me.
really touched a lot of things, a lot of things today. And I want to thank you for sharing your heart. I want to thank you for sharing the truth, because
Yes.
that is what is important. And your story is a testament of the power of perseverance, of love, of embracing our true selves. And I'm so proud of you, and
Thank you.
especially knowing that all these things we see now just started in the last few months.
Yes.
And I think that is awesome, and God is faithful. I just want to thank you. So, how can people reach you?
Black Butterfly Goddess on everything. So blackbutterflygoddess.com and Black Butterfly Goddess on every social media platform.
Oh, that's awesome. So
Yes.
you had it. Black Butterfly Goddess on everything. So you go to the social media platforms and you find her there. And she has a lot of stuff and things she can use to help you
Yes.
in your journey. And like she said, she's a prophetess, she's a psyche, or whatever you want to call it. And she it actually relates. Somehow it's kind of strange how God really speaks to people. Yesterday, I was talking with a friend, and I was talking with a friend. I was like, during the week, God took me through a journey of how you can relate with the spirits,
Yes.
and even if you're a Christian, and it is not like it is diabolic,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I was like, I heard this very clear, like I can hear my name. And
Yes.
it was like God was teaching me. I was driving and I was hearing this thing so clearly. And God took me. I've never really thought of, it's not even like a passage I go to and I have to go study. And God took me through to that journey
Mm-hmm.
of Saul, and when he went to evoke the spirit of Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
And Samuel was able to tell him what was going to happen the next.
Yes.
And I was like, God, why are you taking me through this journey? And I was sharing this testimony with someone yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Last night at about 11 p.m., I was
Mm-hmm.
sharing this story, this testimony. And she was like, yes, she has a personal testimony with her dad, her late dad. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why when God showed her, she, no matter what people say, she understands solely what it means to be in that realm. That's a different realm that God can take
Yes.
someone to. And not
Yes.
everybody have that gift, but very few people have that gift. And but it's just for us to recognize it as Christians, that it is also part of
Yes.
what God can do
It
through.
is.
So coming to you today and talking about this is just like a revelation, just like a confirmation of what God can do
Yes.
using people. So I just want to thank you for sharing. I want to thank you for all that you do. And also, if you want to reach her, you can reach out to her on Black Butterfly Goddess.
Yes.
And I tell you, you'll be able to see more of what she does. And you go to TikTok, like,
Yes. Come see TikTok at night. We have a lot of fun. We even have a group song about self love. So we sing it every
okay,
night.
so
We sing
now
it
you can
every
hear
night.
that. So you
Yes.
need to be there. So you make it
Yes.
a date every night to be with Rena, and I tell you, you will not regret it.
No.
So listening to all of what you talked about like today, there are three things I actually like, as usual, that I always take away from what people say.
Mm-hmm.
And today, one of those things I took away from your story is that resilience in the face of adversity is key. So you
Yes.
need to stay put there. No matter how dark it gets, there's always a path when you keep moving forward. And that's
Yes.
why every day I can tell people, especially when I'm talking and coaching people, I tell you, you need to just celebrate that
Yes.
great moment of waking up and
Mhm.
putting your foot down,
Mhm.
that great moment of being able to say, okay, today I'm going to stand up and do this, and you
Yes.
do it. And even that moment when you couldn't do nothing,
Mhm.
you need to celebrate it. So, but because you still kept yourself, you're still alive to see tomorrow. So resilience in the face of adversity is key. And
Yes.
secondly, the power of spiritual connection.
Yes.
It is key. No matter what you're going through, don't lose your connection with your God.
No.
Don't lose connection with God. I tell you, you will not, I don't know how to explain it, but I am saying it because I am a living testimony of it.
Mhm.
Sometimes the devil can be so deceitful, and it
Mhm.
makes you real think that you've lost that connection.
Mhm.
Always go back and say, Lord, I'm sorry. Like David, go back and say, I'm sorry, Lord. I'm sorry. This is me. This is who I am. You've made me this. And, and God is definitely going to guide your path. I
Mhm.
was reading the book of Psalms 25 today from the message translation, and it sounded like different
Mhm.
because it was saying, Lord, this is me. This is
Mhm.
me. You
Mhm.
have brought me through this journey, and you are going to lead my path. And God was saying, I will lead you in this journey. So God is talking to someone this moment and is saying, I will lead you in this journey. He's never going to leave you, and he's never going to leave you empty. So tapping into your strength, your spiritual strength, can guide you through the hardest battles of your life.
Yes.
And thirdly is authenticity as freedom.
Yes.
So be authentic in all that you do. Don't copy nobody. Don't copy no one. Listen to his voice. He will speak to you. Listen to the voice that is talking to you. Listen to the connections that you have and let them guide. When my husband passed, I remember my pastor used to tell me, he is an angel now. He is your guiding angel. Listen, he
Mhm.
will guide you. He will guide you. I didn't really have that understanding, but I kept on moving in that light. And I tell you, I got a lot of guidance along the way.
Yes.
So you need to listen more. Your guardian angel will never leave you empty. So as we close today, I want to remind you of a pen that writes grief. Get it. It is on Amazon. It is on all of the platforms, and you can get it on our website, greatergraceinternational.org. And I tell you, you will not regret having this. When you go to Amazon, you'll be able to find it. You go to PayHip, you can get it there. And also, I will not leave you without giving you our Bible verse. And you know it, right? And that is, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in the spirit. That's Psalm 34, verse 18. We use it here every day because I know. I cannot imagine how broken you are in your heart, but I know God sees. He sees you, He knows you, and He is close to you, and He is going to help you in your journey. So remember that no matter how heavy your grief is, God is so close to you. God is so close to you, and He is there. And I want to borrow Tuana's um, words when he said that she's a good person. So tell yourself right now, I'm a good person. I'm
Yes.
a good person. So I'm
Yes.
leaving you with that quote this morning. I'm a good person. No matter what, I'm a good person. No matter what I'm going through, no matter what the people think about me, no matter what the world think about me, I know that I am good because
Yes.
God creates everything. When He created it, He said, and He created the heaven and earth. He looked around it and He said that it is what? Good. So I am God's creature and I am good.
Yes.
So when you know that you are, even in our imperfect state, we can be transformed. Transformation can take place. So even in our imperfect state, we can move from grief to grace. Even in our imperfect state, we can move from being stuck to being unstuck. And on that note, I'm leaving you with this last question. And that is, you know how we do it here. You answer these questions and we send you a gift. And this question is that what is one mask you've been wearing that you're ready to shed? What is that one mask that you've been wearing on your face that right now you're ready to pull off and throw it somewhere? And
I love that question. I talk about masks all the time. Ooh, I love that one.
thank you.
I love that.
Thank you. So, what's that one mask you're wearing? So, and you're ready to shed it. Every one of us have one mask we keep wearing, and only us, only you can tell the mask you're wearing. Others cannot see it, but you know it. Are you ready
Yes.
to shed it today? Drop it and keep moving. So, when you answer this question, I'm going to send you a free workbook from Grief to Grace International. And don't forget to support us in every area that you can, because we're starting a new journey and we are starting a new journey soon. And I'm going to share it in our next episode what journey we're starting. And we need all the support that we can get. And that's why I keep talking about get a copy of a grief to a pen that rewrites grief, because this is one way we support this program.
Mhm.
So, and this is one way we support the people that we help. This is one way we help everyone that we can. And right now, we're trying to move a step further in what we're doing. So don't forget to like and follow us, to share this podcast. Share it as much as you can. Tell people about it. And now, for some time we've been so consistent with having it on Saturdays, and we're trying to see, because we're trying it out to know, should we just have like one day so everyone will be ready to see us on that day? And next week I'm going to tell you that day that we have chosen to always have our podcast aired. No matter how many, we don't care how many podcasts we have on one day, but just stay put and sit back and enjoy all that we give to you that day. Thank you for joining us, Tuana. You
Thank
have more
you.
words for our listeners today.
I'm sorry I didn't
You
hear
have
you.
more word for our listeners.
Um, I love what you shared about the mask, and I talk about that all the time. So stop wearing the mask for your family, stop wearing the mask for your friends, stop wearing the mask for your job. And that's the only way you can truly see who you are. Remove them all and love what you see underneath that mask, because underneath that mask is beautiful.
Wow. Thank you so much. So we are Grief to Grace on all platforms. Grief to Grace on Instagram, on Facebook, everywhere, and on our website, grieftograceinternational.org. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you again next time. Don't forget to share this platform. I beg you. Thank you. And I'll say I love you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.